I think I'm doing this for myself. Because I can tell you idiots, and you still wouldn't be able to do it, and you still wouldn't even bother to do the right thing. You would try to use it for some kind of weapon, and before you even fully figured out, you went ahead making stupid moves like splitting the atom when you didn't even have a clue how to put it back together or what was going to happen when you did it. That interruption deserves to die. That's how serious this is. No more explanations. I can see how things work. And not the cute little videos you've been listening to. How it truly works. Most of you can't follow this. That's how I know I must be doing it for myself down the line in case I get neuralized or hypnotized. Quantum. Quantum. Atomic. Molecular. Elemental. Way up here in elemental is where your mind and perception is. Molecular is where you start losing perception of what is going on. Molecules. Atomic is beyond your perception. But it's still the world. It's still how things work. Quantum is below your technology, beyond your technology. It's like that furthest thing you could barely see with your best telescope. You know of its existence and it's there, but you can't get a good enough look at it or get close enough to it to do the things you did with the atomic world. You can't figure it out, chart it, and give it names and all of this. It's how things work. Telekinesis is a psychic ability to affect these things. Okay? The elements, the molecules that the elements are made of, the atoms that the molecules are made of, and those things below that the atoms are made of. Those particles that compose an atom and that compose those particles. The ability to move a pencil is child's play. Ancient history, weak and feeble. All right? A 90-pound weakling versus Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali or Goliath. It's like the proverbial David and Goliath if it wins. So, I'm in a battle where people are using other people and their skills, not just throwing rocks. And some of these skills are pickpocketing, very good vision, super hearing, and psychic abilities. I'm beyond them at this point. I'm beyond putting pressure on a person's heart and giving them cardiac arrest and making it look like natural causes. I'm beyond them putting pressure on someone's kidneys and making them have to go to the bathroom. I'm beyond them putting pressure on their memory center and discombobulating their mind. All right, it's sloppy pool. You know, where you don't know how to shoot pool, you just hit the ball and hope something go in. That's what their whole science is. I can see in my mind's eye how to do things I saw in the movies, how to take a person's integrity and rip them apart, how to separate their atoms. I can see things that was in fantasy movies in which no explanation was given to me nowhere in life or explained, no diagrams, no nothing. But I can see clearly how to melt a person. It's not a joke. This is how these things work. I'm going to tell you mechanics of it so you know I'm not joking. Here's the difference between these two things. One is separation, scattering of particles. The other is disintegration of particles moving downward. It makes it look like a person or something just melted. When you disintegrate the atoms moving toward what you call the ground, it looks like it just melted down. When you see melting, it's a falling apart thing. Unless it's a blowtorch, nothing is melting it. That means that, even though something is melting it, it's falling apart. It's not actually taking it apart. I can't describe to you. When you see an ice cream melting, it's losing its integrity. The particles are falling apart, and you don't even see particles. You see some kind of liquid that you don't think is made of particles. The closest they can get your mind and program is a pile of powder you might be able to wrap your brain around as particles, but you can't wrap your mind around liquid as particles. And it is just as much as the powder. This goes to your programming to show you that it is real, that it is limited, and it is set, and it has boundaries. But not boundaries you can't break through, but you can feel how hard it is. It's like trying to escape from a very thick plastic bubble. When I throw these thoughts out here and you gotta push to get through it, you see it holding you, and you know what I'm saying is the truth, but you see they have a thought in place holding you. Like, dang, that's right, and I'm trying to think it, but it's hard. Well, how is it hard to think? See, why? How is it hard to push up? So, we way past telepathy. Your thoughts making a phone call. Your mind making a phone call to someone else's mind. We're way past cast. Your mind sending pictures to another person's mind or receiving pictures from another person's mind. I wouldn't call it common, but put it this way, it's nowhere near the rare thing it used to be on TV. It's more toward the truth of we all have these abilities to some degree. Like, we all have the potential to walk. Those of us who are trained or practice or train walk better. We all have the potential to throw a ball. all of us won't become a pitcher or a quarterback or a basketball player. Same way with these abilities. Most people don't go pro. I'm making this note because I'm still standing in a world that acts like that's television. That's not real. Or I don't know that that's real because I don't see it in my life. I don't see it in my world. And it is real. Here come this dog again. No more mercy. This is that proverbial, you be praying, talking to God, and then someone walks in and you stop because you're scared they're going to think you're talking to yourself. Now you can turn your back on God for what they think. This is those moments and those pauses. And I done lost great notes trying to avoid these people talking in the background and doing all this. Now, I give them the guillotine. I let you hear them where you can identify them. I kept on trying, but they would keep on doing things and I would forget my place and what I'm talking about. And the things be important, more important than their damn life. So now I'm not pressing pause no more. They can make that mistake if they want to. This information will stand for 1,000 years. That's enough to destroy their entire ancestry. So, I'm going to continue anyway at what I was doing. Because all that is some kind of evil avatar stuff. Just at the right moment to screw me up. Send the avatar, the barking dog. Talking on a device 1 inch away. Like they're screaming at someone across the yard. That's that drunk person I told you that made me where I'll never go in a hospital and feel safe again. The nurse. I will never feel safe in there ever again. And I would, and a place that I thought was hygienically cleaner than anyone else has a roster of bad hygiene, nasty damn women in it, holding the fucking needle, ready to poke me with her nasty bad hygiene, borderline illiterate butt. So, this one that you hear blew the whole illusion away. Like you working behind the scenes somewhere and seeing things like I did when I worked for the fair. I no longer go to fairs or amusement parks, and I definitely don't ride rides. I worked there for years. No things that would have your worst relative scared. The toughest person you got would be scared to death if they knew what I knew. So, just like you know, every time you think of anything before you use it or before you go, befriend someone who worked there and see if they don't tell you, no, don't eat that stuff. They be doing this and doing that. And people don't know this and people don't know that. Every insider has these stories. For your self-preservation and protection, look inside. Open up the box and look inside before you take it to the counter and buy it. Open one of them up. Put it back, get a new one. And all I'm simply saying is, as every job I ever worked, that was it for that product in my life. Now it's going across people I know. Really nasty people with diseases working in food places. The nurses are easy, have bad hygiene, high disease rate, because somewhere in their mind, I work at the hospital. These aren't the days of you getting things and you can just go get a shot. But they're thinking and functioning like that. So they have more diseases than the average female by 300%. The nurses. Compounded by, think of all the sick people they come in contact with that have things that don't have a cure. And just like the nasty people I know, they have traits in common based on this faulty program. Alcohol kills germs. They would use it at the hospital, I would think, if that was true. They would use it for sterilization like in the cowboy days. Or they would give you a drink when you get ready to get an operation, and on and on and on. They don't do that. Okay? Garlic cleans your blood out. When you see somebody using a lot of garlic, drinking alcohol, tomato juice and all that, they have diseases and won't take their ass to the doctor. This power I am talking about is the power to recognize the difference between a cell and a foreign thing in your blood or in your body, with your mind, with psychic powers, all right? To the ability to not just see something somewhere else, but to look inside of a person's body and see where the problem is on their heart, and to grab it with their mind, telekinesis. Psychic surgery is what I'm saying. Psychic chiropractics, and a whole bunch of things. Listen to this voice. Stick a pin in it. Disrespectful dog. No consideration for no one. May sound intelligent or articulate, but dumb as dirt. One of them crazy people who walk around talking on the phone that's 1 inch away from their mouth, and the whole house, the whole neighborhood, and everyone has to endure the boring ass conversation, repeating themselves over and over because they don't have nothing to talk about, right? And then turn around and call another person and give them the same routine and the same story. I've seen a lot of mental cases going way back to the big boom box. People walking around with radios, blasting, acting like they rapping. But what they is a person with a mental problem who talk all the time, right? Hiding it behind the radio and rap. That's what that phone crap is that you hear in the back right now. And if I make several notes, you will hear it and it will never stop. And if you listen to the words, they are not interesting to anyone else. They're not useful to anyone else. They're not even anything that need to be said on the phone to someone else. All it is background noise. And me putting a pin in, okay, it ain't anyone could become an agent at any minute. This is what it is. I know how to chop it up, So like I said, thanks for identifying it. Thanks for you giving the example. Thanks for giving me time to study it. Thanks for giving me a chance to tell the whole damn world and give them a living audio example of a vampire. What I mean by a vampire. I've been avoiding that. I've been cutting them out. Oh, they trying to get in the back of the note. Pause. And me and you are taking the losses. Screw them. Let them identify themselves. Let them get in the background of one of these notes and see what happens to them. They think they have problems now. Let's see how big and bad they want. Let's see if what they think is true. They can do whatever they want without consequences. Alright? Fuck you, fuck me, fuck the world. You remember what this note is about? Do you know what I'm doing? Do you know who I am? Why would anyone around me do anything to interfere and mess me up? Because their mind is not on assisting me, helping me, doing any of the things that I say. Listen. Man, them people make me so mad. I don't want their DNA to rest and find peace anywhere. When they die, I hope there ain't enough land left to bury them. I'm not pausing. You just heard them go that way, saying nothing, going nowhere. Watch them come back this way, talking, saying nothing, and then go back that way, talking, saying nothing. You know what they doing? Drunk, walking on the phone, talking back and forth. Telling the same ass damn story over and over that's driving me insane, and it's interfering with the world. No, don't call God. You godless dog. You ain't got no scruples, you ain't got no principles, you ain't got no nothing. And you just tarnished the whole nursing profession and industry when I met you, telling me you've been doing this 20-something years. Oh my God. I'm scared. I'm scared now. The whole medical thing was getting hecka scary. Wasn't adding up. It was a lie over here, lie over there. Now they got some dumb idiot they don't have to keep secrets from. The nurses. Now it got me making every nurse look bad by showing she got on a dirty bra. Under that uniform, she don't take a bath. She wear the same clothes every day. And camouflage it behind going to work, coming from work all the time. Assume these are the people you see in these uniforms all the time that you could buy anywhere. Don't even bother to get dressed, don't bother to bathe, don't bother to do nothing. You think, oh, they've been working all night. That's why they look like chitlins, they're so wrinkled. No. Just put them on every day. Barely even wash them. Spray for something like Febreze on them, that comes spray that they have down in the hospital. Odor killer, right? They have all kind of neat stuff for them to hide their diseases, hide their smell, hide their everything. And hide the fact that they're zip damn dumb and not what you thinking in your mind, like the next thing to a doctor. Seeing the nurse come in your room is just as good as the doctor coming in. No, it's not. It's just part of the game being ran on you. You don't think it's true? Think about it's so many, you got to know one. and multiply that. Don't think, oh, that's just my friends messed up. If they knew about her, no. If they knew about them, if they knew that the dirty ghetto girls work in restaurants, hospitals, and all kinds of places that's supposed to be really clean, they would wake up. If what they saw with their eyes registered in their brain. What you couldn't figure out is, where is the connection broken between my eyes and my mind? Why is my mind receiving a different picture than what my eyes are looking at? Because your mind is being redirected. It's being redirected by thoughts that are put in there to redirect what you would call mind filters. Instead of the picture going straight from your eye through your brain to your mind, it's going from your eye through a thought someone put in there, telling you a narrator and an interpreter and a description. Just like you see on social media and all this stuff. Understand that you are not just what you eat. Okay, you are what you eat, but you also are what you perceive, what you sense, what you see. If you look at something, you start taking on its characteristics. I'm going through this right now, right? They have the latest mind ride. I don't want to get into any court battle, so I'm not going to call any of the court names. But it's created by the people who created The Simpsons, right? So it has a specific type of artwork, their style. I noticed since my grandson has been watching this thing, he's beginning to look like these damn characters. You think that's just some weird thought? You tell me why couples start looking like brother and sister if it's some weird thought. Why do they start looking alike? Because you also are what you perceive. Not, it's an intake, like eating. So when I say you are what you eat, it's also what your mind eats too. It makes up your character. You draw from it when you get ready to act and behave. You draw from scenes and experiences and memories of someone or something walking, talking, or doing what you're getting ready to do. You don't just see you doing it. Okay? You see where you got it from. It happens so fast you don't think about it, but you know I'm telling the truth. So you are what you see too. Now your mind can perceive why you shouldn't just be letting anyone show you anything on a screen, putting anything into your mind, because it makes you what you're being shown. All right? It turns people into gangbangers, bank robbers, all kinds of things, because this was inputted into their mind almost over and over until it became a hypnotic suggestion. So you can't just look. You go hang out with ugly people, you're going to start looking ugly. I don't know what ugly is, but if you go around things that you think are ugly, you're going to look in the mirror and say, what happened to me? I've got ugly. If you go around things you call beauty in your mind that you think are beauty, you will become a beautiful person. And you don't have to eat these things. Just be exposed to them. There are more sciences going on than we have even discovered. Remember that. Thinking, these people didn't say that. These people didn't say that. There are things in this world still that we don't know is here. Just like we keep finding out things that we didn't know, we will be finding out things we don't know for a long time to come. And this is one of them. You're not just what you eat. You're what you hear, what you see, what you rub up against. Do you understand that? Do you understand how that works? Your body is incredible and it will adapt to anything you rub up against. If you rub up against a rock and you live in caves, it will adjust to that. If you rub up against trees because you're climbing them and you live in the forest, it will adjust to that. If you're sliding through sand, it will adjust to it. If you're in the water, it will adjust to it. I'm going to tell you something now that is a closely guarded secret. Part of a very, very big thing that I'm getting ready to do with all the big tech companies, all the major countries, and a lot of things. All right, we're going to handle time machines, teleporters, life extension, reverse aging, super intelligence, super people, living androids, functioning people, clones, the whole thing. It's part of that. And I'm going to confirm it, that what I told you in the beginning, that I'm the kind of person who can really do that, and that I have that kind of mind. Listen, we are creatures, descendants of creatures that were in the water. This came to me by way of Dr. York and his people and their research and much, much hard work and study. And he gave it to us in a simple way by simply saying, water creatures, you can identify water creatures because they have webbed feet and limbs. And then he pointed out that we had webbed hands and webbed feet. They may not be major webbed like a frog person, but you can see your bones inside of him and see that what you call skin between those bones is really webbing. So that we come from the water. And I told you it was a water verse. How do you keep imprison a water creature? How do you punish him? How do you do something? You create an air bubble, right? No, that would kill them. Taking them from the water would kill them. Here's what you do. You got to remove their gills and orient them to breathe on land in their lungs. Now, you done heard many stories about this. No one's ever gave you any kind of mechanics that you could wrap your brain around as this real and not a fantasy. Because from where their description, it still sounds fantasy, fantastic. I don't see no way it can be done or really happen. Here's what it is. Your gills were not removed. They were bred out of you. It was took from your mind that you had them, and you were took from the water, and you've been trained to be on land. You don't use it, you lose it. Listen to me. Your ears used to be part of your gill system. Okay? That's why when you go in the water, you have to hold your breath. But your ears automatically close up by themselves. You don't have to hold your ears closed to keep water from getting in your head. When you know your ears, nose, and throat are connected and they are open, that you can blow in your mouth and water and air comes out your ears. And out your nose too. So you know they're open holes. When you get in the water, your nose holes were supposed to open and close too. You lost that skill. You have the ability to hold your breath, right? What do you think that was originally? It's given away by the fact that that you overlooked, that see, they taught you to hold these other things. Taught you to swim again. A water creature that was born in a sack of water, living fine and breathing everything in the water and fluid of its mom's stomach. It has to teach how to swim and survive in the water. Okay? This is done to you consciously. Now, the clue is they missed your ears. The ears are the giveaway. You can breathe air through your ears. Okay? And when you submerge your gills, your ears, they close by themselves. And when they're broken or not working good, you get, oh, I got water in my ears. Why is it rare? If you go in water with your mouth open, it ain't gonna get in there sometime. It's gonna get in there every time. Only by mistake, when your gills don't close, does it get in your ear. You don't know your own body and your own self. I had to come and tell you, there is no such thing as, there's no body part called the back. You really believe you had a back? What about a front? If you got a back, and sock you in your front instead of stab you in your front instead of stab you in your back. I had to tell you, there's no such thing as the brain. You could plainly see it's at least two things, but it's a lot more. And you can plainly see on the back of it, the cerebellum is a completely different organ. It's like me looking inside of your, listen, and you're calling everything inside your body your stomach. Now you know you have kidneys. You know you have a liver, spleen, all kinds of things. Why do you keep touching your center talking about, oh, my stomach hurt, when it could be any of these things? Stomach is a little sack over to the side, and you think it's your entire middle. That's insane. That's what insanity is, to lose touch with reality. And I would call that losing touch. Acting like my heart is thinking. In my heart, and calling everything in my body, my stomach, and calling everything in my head one thing, like it's one piece. My brain, you completely lost in the dark about yourself. Understand the reason of these notes. How can you have self-preservation when you have not a clue where self is? You can't even figure out how to preserve it. Do you know what it's made of and what it's vulnerable to and all kinds of things, and especially its present state of jeopardy? Is it even in jeopardy? And from what? How do I protect myself if I don't even know what I'm in danger from? You don't even know which things you're putting in your mouth are killing you, and which things are giving you vitamins and making you stronger and taking you on. You really don't know. At best, you know what you were told. These powers have the ability to avoid all this. See, there are things that you don't know. When I was very young, they had a show called That's Incredible. And they told us at the end of the show, we were going to get to meet the strongest man in the world, right? And we had all these images of strong men from the movies. You know, they had a leopard or tiger skin, Flintstone type outfit on over one shoulder like a caveman, and they had on wristbands, and they had a wax mustache, and they lifted that big, and then we had the big stomach ones, sumo wrestler types. Wait, so we have these prejudgments, these prejudices, right? These expected things based on what someone told us because we never even seen it before. right? So the show goes on, and we sit there patiently like they always do. You know, I always say the big one for last. They show us a guy they had showed us earlier in the show and didn't tell us that he was the strongest man in the world. When he came out at first, they had a glass box. And he was a tall man, skinny man. And he folded himself up in this little glass box. You know, that's incredible, right? But at the end of the show, when he came out as the strongest man in the world, the skinny man, our mind said, what the hell? Hell no. What kind of scam? What the hell are they thinking? What's strong? His breath? What the hell? And he picked up the weight and did it like it's not nothing. Like these strong, fat, big belly people couldn't do with their straining and struggling and in stages. He just did it. And guess what he told us was his secret? That's what this little segment is about. This one little piece. He said he didn't eat. He said, I don't know if he said he discovered, he were taught, but I know that he said our bodies absorb all the nutrients we need through our pores in our body from the atmosphere and world around us, that we didn't have to eat. If we did, we would die. All the things we have to do are automatic. That means your lungs go in automatically by themselves. You don't have to try to breathe. Your heart beats by itself. You don't have to try to beat it. Well, eating and all these other things were like that too. It's all automatic. Just, you know, like you would picture in the Garden of Eden. You don't have to do anything. It's all took care of. It's all autonomous. Yeah. Message. So, we are going to be working on things, on everything. And there are other people who are planning this who are about to get short-stopped. Where they're going to have to join in with us. And everybody got to stop their little secret projects and not sharing the information, because the information won't be shared with them. That's the fear that's going to keep them from doing it. We don't know what they're doing in there. We have to get in there. And the only way we can get in there is we share what we have. And it has to be worthy. And so that they know it's not a scam. It is costing us. We would never pay that kind of money just to spy. So, out of reflex, I did it anyway, y'all. I pressed pause. It's an automatic reflex. When I hear them coming making noise in the background, I hit pause. This time I was supposed to let you hear them. I forgot, and I stopped. And you know why I don't want to stop anymore. I lose my place. I lose the continuity of what I'm doing. It's not totally their fault. If I was in a recording studio, there wouldn't be any interference with recording. If I was in an office, no one would be interfering with my business. This goes to say that don't even try to do it at home. I don't care what it is. A home is to live and to be at home. And daily life will get in the way of anything else you try to do. So, back to our point. We're all over the road. So, now, let's go back to the beginning. Elements is that chart that you were taught in school. You know, iron, gold, zinc, sulfur, that right there. These elements are made of, they're called compounds. But we're going to skip past that. We're hitting major stages. Elements, molecules. They're made of molecules. What are molecules? Molecules are made of atoms. Okay? What are atoms? Atoms are made of smaller parts. Electrons, protons. You know the drill. What is an electron? Electron is made of even smaller particles, quarks, and on until we get down to the what they telling you is the quantum universe you're hearing about. Something that is beyond our microscopes, beyond our computers, beyond our reach. We know it's there. For most of you who've never ever heard of this, let's take you to Weirdville, why it's such a big deal. Listen to the statements they make about the quantum universe and quantum mechanics. They say that these particles behave different when you're looking at them. They behave different when you're not looking at them than when you're looking at them. You hear that? Atoms and things work the same way all the time until they come in contact, right? In this world down here, when you take your eyes off of the particles, they act completely different. What is coming out of our eyes that affects the universe? Because this stuff is the fabric of the universe down here in the quantum thing. And what is this? When we're looking, it's one thing, and when we're not looking, it's not. That seems like some kind of illusion mechanism that's only there for when you are looking, and when you're not looking, it cuts off. Okay? What is that? Are we inside some big holodeck, some matrix, some illusion that the world is on? As you drive down the street, the world is being painted for you like you in GTA or in some game, that you're really going nowhere. The scenery around you is changing. Because listen to that. When you're looking, it does this. When you're not looking, it does that. That's just one of the things that you're going to hear. You're going to hear this thing could be over here and be over there too at the same time, which is not possible in none of these other stages. Element, molecule, atoms, none of them rules. All the rules change when you get down here. All these things up here obey the same rules, all of them, molecules, atoms, elements, everything. But once you cross this line, the rules change. And all these things are based on this stuff across the line. So at the bottom is some kind of illusion mechanism and proof that you don't just see with your eyes going in. There's something coming out of your eyes. You can tell. All you got to do is go around flies. It's like you got two headlights and the flies will be flying around it. That's how come they seem to disappear. They're flying outside of your field of vision right in front of you because you got two headlights, two separate eyes. And they can see where they're shining at because something's coming out of your eyes. And they can fly in between those beams. Now, whoever taught you something was coming out of your eyes? Cats can see it. They creep along where you can't see them, just outside of your eye thing, and you'll see them out the corner of your eye. And if you turn your head just a little tiny bit, they'll stop and freeze because your beams are cutting them off in front of them. All the animals and insects can see it. We just haven't found it yet, like the nose on your face. How you gonna not find your own eyes? Don't even know how your own eyes work. And nothing else. We knew nothing else. I don't know what the deal is. how we could live in a world and not know a damn thing about ourselves and how we work. And then dig up some pyramids and all of it's written there already. When the hell and how the hell did we forget? Happened again. It's a tangent. Let's get back on track. I started telling you that I'm not talking about dropping a drop of substance on a piece of glass under a microscope and affecting these particles. I'm talking about the way 5G is messing up your cellular construction, composition, making you secrete fluids in which you keep thinking is a cold and phlegm and mucus you're coughing up. And it was snuck in under the COVID-19 where you put it on it. I'm talking about psychic contact. I'm talking about just like radio waves, microwaves, radiation, and all these other things you can't see that will eat you up, do things to you that you can't see. Poison gas is invisible. I'm talking about psychic things. But you have to think about it in terms of a telephone, right? And then you have to think of it in terms of not a teleporter, but a teleporter where you could stick only your hand in it, and your hand could go anywhere and do something to something. Where you can make things happen far away. You can't go, but you can still touch it, move it, and do stuff. That's telekinesis. That's remote telekinesis. Okay? Alright? Remote viewing is the ability to see things somewhere else without a camera, without anything. Through walls, through time, across the world. Alright? They have teams of these people working in governments, corporations, all kind of things. They find you in school when you put those little circles. When they give you the little test that you fill in with the number 2 pencil, they find out your IQ, what abilities you have and stuff. FBI, CRA and stuff start recruiting and in your life then in elementary school. And so they have these teams of these people. And how you know is if you go and like Google remote viewing and these psychic powers, they start showing you 50-year-old films of, yeah, we got this 50 years ago. Where's the films from right now? Where are these things right now? If it was that strong, that bad, and in 50 years ago, I see why we can't see it nowhere. They're right in front of us doing everything. And that's how come certain people are rich, certain people are winning wars. The hardware is obsolete. There is no drone camera that can do what a remote viewer can do. It would take them days to get all the way over to Germany or somewhere, and their little limited ass picture wouldn't be able to see through the walls nothing but a heat signature. This person can see the person in real time what they are doing, can even read what they are writing or holding in their hand. That was 50 years ago. And so we're walking around out here like the X-Men with these abilities, scared to tell any damn body. Some of them using it to do criminal stuff, then Las Vegas using it to win, and some men using it to get women, and all the things that if you ask them what would they do if they had superpowers, they're out there doing that shit right now. Right now, me, my children, and other people. Right now. This ain't no television crap. So all I'm simply saying is, I'm way ahead. Because those things showed in television, nowhere in the television did it show you exactly how to do it and exactly what is happening. And in my head, I can see exactly what is happening and how to do it. I can look at you. I can't. Do you understand? In order for me to look at you, I have to look through things. And you're standing there thinking there's nothing between me and you but air. That is the biggest myth and lie in the world. I see all kind of little creatures and stuff swimming around in the dang air, look like little pieces of light, and there's other things that look like air, I guess gas and smells. They gases too. You can see all of that shit if you think about it, quit ignoring it. Scared that something's wrong with your eyes. You can see all that shit in the air. You know what it reminds you of? When you're staring at a light bulb or a light source or a television or a phone, which proves they're bad for your eyes and that they're burning them, and you turn away real quick, and burned into your eyes is still a glow from the light. Even if you close your eyes completely, you still see the glow from the light. Okay? That's what these things I see remind me of. It's like the world is made of multi-pixels. I'm not exaggerating. I see pixels when I look at you, and some of those pixels is what you call the air and stuff between us. You don't seem like you made out of pixels. You seem like a solid object. Guess you tightly compact or something. But in my mind, I can see how to pick you apart. How to disintegrate you. How to rip. How to just make a tear in your flesh without cutting you. How to put you back together if you were cut. How to fix what is wrong with you. And a lot of things came together, not just these psychic powers. What happened, I got injured what seemed like hundreds of times, an incredible, inhuman amount. Because I've seen people, one of these things happen to them, they're in a wheelchair for life, they can't talk, they got a voice box, they can't see, they retarded, and I survived them all. But it developed a kung fu. In other words, places where I don't have a framework which supports you, your skeleton. I use my muscles to support my muscles. And that's not supposed to be possible. If you don't have no leg bones, you ain't supposed to be able to stand up. You ain't supposed to be able to use your leg muscles to stand up without your leg bones. And basically that's what I'm doing and had to do. And when you're using your mind like that, mind over muscle, just like anything, you practice something, you become good at it. And this is not just practice. This is 24/7. Every second you have to stay on it. The minute I stop, okay, when I go to sleep and I wake up, it all stops. And I wake up all crooked and twisted, looking like a monster, like a person who's been horribly deformed or in some horrible accident. I wake up like this every day. And every day I have to use this technique. By the end of the day, I look better than you and everyone and got control of every one of my parts, and you don't. By the end of the day, I go from handicapped and disabled worse than you'll ever be when I open my eyes to a super person you'll never be by the time I close my eyes. This is my everyday routine. You look at it, look weird, like, what is he doing? Because I'm working on weird parts. And sometimes it's on the inside. And it looks like he's just, does he have Tourette's syndrome or something? That disease where people be just, spasms? Hey, they're worse than the talking to yourself people. Crazy people just waiting to call somebody crazy. Stupid people waiting to find somebody dumber than them. Poor people waiting to find somebody with less than them to look down their nose. Everybody looking to do to someone what is being done to them. And then gonna come to me like they're innocent and we need to team up and get the bad guys. And I'm looking at them like I'm looking at the damn bad guys. And they like, why are you looking at me like that? Okay. Gotta put some over in another pot. Too much in one pot. This is the SPS. You know the rest.